Alright folks, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say the slightly terrifying neighbor lurking next door to Ruby Sunday and Mrs. Flood.
Never seen a TARDIS before.
So, let's dissect this Mrs. Flood situation like a particularly interesting two-hearted meep, shall we? Now, you know me, and the Doctor just happens to be my favorite eccentric, time-traveling cousin. In order to help them out, we're taking a deep dive into one of the most enigmatic and intriguing characters introduced in recent seasons, Mrs. Flood. With her dual nature of both comforting and terrifying traits, Mrs. Flood has sparked numerous theories and debates. Is she a god, a powerful Time Lord, or something entirely new? First up, the good vibes. Mrs. Flood seems to genuinely care about Ruby, offering cups of tea and cryptic warnings. Maybe she's the White Guardian in disguise, our universe's cool auntie with a penchant for floral print housecoats. But then there's the whole breaking the fourth wall thing. Come on, only the Doctor can pull that move. Is she some kind of super being messing with us, or maybe even playing both sides, good and evil, like a celestial ultimate frisbee champion? One theory posits that Mrs. Flood might be the one or both of the Guardians from the Fifth Doctor's era. The White and Black Guardians are cosmic entities locked in an eternal struggle for dominance. The White Guardian embodies order and balance, often appearing as a benevolent guide to the Doctor, though his manipulative side has been exposed. His origins are shrouded in mystery, with theories ranging from creation by a Time Lord leader to being a pre-universe being. He wields the key to time, an artifact vital for the universe's health, and frequently seeks the Doctor's help in retrieving its scattered segments. The Black Guardian, conversely, represents chaos and entropy, constantly striving to disrupt order. He craves the key to time for his own purposes and is more aggressive than his counterpart. Both Guardians likely arose together, their existence dependent on the other. While their exact origins and the full extent of their powers remain unclear, their epic clash over order and chaos is a constant threat to the universe's stability. The Guardian's presence would explain Mrs. Flood's fourth wall-breaking abilities and her godlike aura. As an eternal being, she would possess immense knowledge and power. Even more powerful, she could be playing a dual role, both the White and Black Guardian, fitting the enigmatic profile of Mrs. Flood. Mrs. Flood's behavior and abilities have sparked comparisons to other powerful beings. Some fans have noted her connection to previous companions, like Clara and Romana, based on her attire and lines. In A Legend of Ruby Sunday, her outfit resembles Clara's from Face the Raven and Hellbent. In Empire of Death, she says he's a clever boy, echoing Clara's frequent line. In the final scene, she wears a white fluffy coat with a white umbrella, reminiscent of Romana's outfit from classic Who. Despite these fascinating theories, the most likely explanation is that Mrs. Flood is a new villain introduced to captivate both longtime fans and new Disney Plus viewers. Creating a new character allows the writers to build fresh, unpredictable storylines without relying on established lore. This approach helps keep the series accessible to new audiences who may not be familiar with the extensive history of Doctor Who. It keeps things fresh, you know? No need to rely on dusty old lore when you can cook up a whole new batch of chaos. Plus, a mysterious neighbor, who doesn't love a good dose of sci-fi paranoia? Mythologically speaking, one compelling theory is that Mrs. Flood could be Isis, the Egyptian goddess of magic, fertility, and motherhood. Isis is known for her nurturing qualities and her ability to resurrect and protect. This theory aligns well with Mrs. Flood's nurturing moments and her ability to foresee events, suggesting a deep connection to life, death, and rebirth. Another intriguing theory is that Mrs. Flood might represent a conceptual dual god, embodying both benevolent and malevolent aspects. Another of the pantheon as introduced last session, Allah the Toymaker, Maestro, Sutek, or one of the gods mentioned by Harbinger, such as the threefold deity or the Mother, Father, and Other. This god could have two sides, one caring and nurturing, and another power-hungry and destructive. This dual nature would perfectly explain Mrs. Flood's conflicting behaviors. Her nurturing side comforts and aids, while her power-hungry side schemes and manipulates. Mrs. Flood could also be linked to other ancient deities. For instance, she might be a figure from Norse mythology, such as Hel, the ruler of the underworld, who oversees the dead. Alternatively, she could be Yama, the Hindu god of death and justice, who records the deeds of mortals and determines their fate after death. Each of these gods has characteristics that could align with Mrs. Flood's abilities and knowledge. Or she could even be someone more malevolent, such as Lilith, the primordial she-demon who has made appearances in the Doctor Who universe in various times and has sought revenge against the Doctor even in Shakespeare's time. But here's where things get interesting. What if Mrs. Flood isn't a god or a recycled companion? What if she's something entirely new? Like, say, a being called the Weaver who can literally manipulate the fabric of reality, nudging events this way and that like a cosmic pool player. Imagine it! This Weaver wants to dethrone some big cheese god being, remake the universe in its own image, and turn free will into a participation trophy. Talk about a bad neighbor. And wouldn't you know it, the Doctor just had to stumble into this cosmic game of cat and mouse. The Weaver doesn't see the future, she weaves it. She perceives the universe as a vast tapestry, threads of probability branching and intertwining. With a touch, a subtle manipulation of energy, she could nudge events down specific paths, orchestrating tragedies and triumphs alike. This power fueled a singular, terrifying ambition to dethrone a god, a being whispered of in ancient texts as the architect. The Weaver saw itself as the superior mind, a puppet master tired of the messy, unpredictable play unfolding in the universe. It yearned for a symphony of control, a universe sculpted to its will, where free will was a mere suggestion. The Doctor's arrival, along with the return of Sutekh, was a wrench in the Weaver's carefully woven plans. So, who is Mrs. Flood? Honestly, your guess is as good as mine. Is she a divine being, a time-traveling enigma, or a villain with a serious case of interior design envy? One thing's for sure, she's going to keep us on the edge of our seats, and probably make us triple-check the locks on our doors. I definitely think they should think twice before having her come spend time with Cherry Sunday. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Is Mrs. Flood a friend or foe? And more importantly, do you think the Doctor should give me some fashion advice? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for all the latest Doctor Who news and theories. Until next time, keep calm and keep on regenerating.